Hey, it's me, the blue mare with the pink hair, and today I'm going to talk about the top 10 things I like about Trixie Lulamoon. And I know what you're probably asking yourself, well, why would you make a video like this? Why do you care about Trixie Lulamoon? Well, that's why I'm going to do a top 10, because why not? I think it'd be fun to go over why I like Trixie Lulamoon. So, number 1 is, Trixie was a good antagonist. So, when we first get introduced to Trixie, she arrives to Ponyville, and she obviously thinks she's the biggest, most magical unicorn in all of Equestria, and she boasts about her magical abilities. However, this doesn't really go exactly well for Trixie, since nobody really believes her, except for Snips and Snails. Which I know, they're typical simps. But I can't really blame them. I mean, look at this beautiful mare coming into Ponytown saying, hey, I'm the greatest and most powerful. You know, I think I would follow that as well. So Snips and Snails decides to follow Trixie, become one of her proteges. So Rarity, Applejack, and Rainbow Dash decide to challenge Trixie to see who's better, only for Trixie to embarrass them and humiliate them. And you would think Twilight Sparkle being there wouldn't allow this kind of humiliation to happen, but instead she runs off and doesn't accept the challenge. So then Trixie proclaims herself as the most powerful and ends her show. Now, I know I've heard a couple people kind of complain about what Twilight Sparkle does in this scene, but I think it actually kind of makes sense. I mean, at this point, Twilight Sparkle is 2 seasons away from becoming a princess, and she's still learning about magic and who she is. Which makes sense. She doesn't want to fight fire with fire. 2 wrongs do not make a right, and she believes that if she uses the kind of magic like Trixie does, well, she'll be no better than Trixie. Also, I want to mention how I love how Snips refers to her as the G and the PT. It's just really adorable. So, after the show, Snips and Snails follow Trixie around, fawning over her, falling in love with her, basically, until she gets tired of it, and she sends them away. These 2 geniuses decide to draw out an Ursa Minor into Ponyville, believing that Trixie can just defeat it. And they also believe that it's actually an Ursa Major, but obviously we see that is not true. And here she is, the great and powerful Trixie's time to shine, and she can't do it. So then Twilight has to use her magic to soothe the Ursa Minor to sleep, and gives it a bottle of milk constructed from the water tower before sending it back into the cave. And I know what you guys are thinking. Well, you just said that Trixie was one of the best antagonists in the show, but she hasn't really done anything so far. You just wait until Season 3, Magic Duel, when Trixie returns to Ponyville, wreaking havoc with her newfound powers by the Alicorn Amulet. Confronting Twilight Sparkle and challenging her to a duel as revenge, Trixie explains her motive for revenge is because after the time Twilight Sparkle had shown up Trixie when she defeated the Ursa Minor, Trixie could no longer perform her magic traveling show. And do you think Twilight Sparkle can stop her? No, not with that amulet. So Trixie banishes Twilight from Ponyville, and then she takes over Ponyville, remaking it in her own image. This is one of my favorite parts from the early 3 seasons, where Trixie forces all the citizens to do hard labor for her and punishing anyone who refuses. She is especially hard on Snips and Snail because, obviously they're simps, and she wants to get rid of them as fast as possible. This right here is exactly why she is the best antagonist in the show. She comes into Ponyville and she takes everything away from Twilight Sparkle, and she becomes the almighty, the most powerful pony in Ponyville. Fortunately for our girl Trixie, Twilight returns and calls Trixie a cheater and challenges her again. She then performs a trick that Trixie cannot do.
Shake Shack? Oh. You want one? I'll go grab a PA.
Oh, no. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
I see you got the extra whipped cream in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yummers.
Trixie, frustrated, removes her Alicorn Amulet and puts on the fake amulet. When she puts on this new amulet, all of her powers are stripped away from her, and we find out that the Alicorn Amulet was actually corrupting Trixie's mind. So, as an apology, Trixie provides fireworks to back Twilight's entertainment provision, declaring herself that she is the great and apologetic Trixie. Not only is she an amazing antagonist, she also gets reformed, which is one of my favorite reformations in the whole entire show. Number 2, her relationship with Starlight Glimmer. This personally is one of my favorite friendships in the whole entire show, but it's also kind of one of my favorite ships in the whole entire show, and I will stand by that until the day I die. When Starlight Glimmer is reformed, she has to try and make a new friend. So, Starlight Glimmer looks around and she doesn't get really any success. Nobody's really like her, nobody really relates to her, until she comes across Trixie Lulamoon. Finding out that also Trixie has been in the same situation as Starlight, they instantly bond, and a new friendship is formed. And one of my favorite episodes of all time, No Second Prances. Twilight doesn't really approve of this, but we don't care about that. We're talking about Starlight and Trixie's friendship. And by the end of the episode, Starlight becomes friends with Trixie again, and they perform a magic show where Trixie and Starlight perform a trick only carried out by one pony before, Hoofdini, and the two friends make amends. This is one of my favorite episodes, and also this duo is one of my favorite friendships in the whole entire show. I really love these two so much. Number 3, Trixie's mane. Now, if you haven't really been paying attention so far, you might not know what I'm talking about, but if you watch the show, you'll notice that Trixie is the only one who has that style mane. Now, yes, later in the seasons, 1 or 2 characters end up having that mane, but when we're first introduced to Trixie, we don't really see anybody else with that styled mane, which it's just such a good style, and it's just so unique to this character. And yes, I do like how Starlight Glimmer kind of incorporates it into her look later in the series. But in the first 3 seasons, Trixie's mane is one of the most unique style choices in all of Ponyville. And just look how these colors match and bounce off of each other. The dark blue, the light blue, and the white, it's so adorable and it looks so cool. And it looks even better in Equestria Girls, where Trixie has one of my most favorite designs in all of Equestria Girls. I mean, she looks amazing. Whoever designed this outfit is so awesome, and I want to give them a hug because they are a genius. Number 3, her eyelashes. Now, I know what you guys are saying. Oh, well, later in the series, they actually gave her normal eyelashes. And that is also something that I am very annoyed about, but that's not so much Trixie's fault, that's just the designer's fault. However, in the first 3 seasons, she has her eyelashes facing forward, which only ever happens in males, which is why a lot of people have come up with theories in the fact that Trixie might be trans. Now, I don't know if I exactly agree with this. It is very possible, especially for a character like Trixie. But that's just the thing that I love about this community. Everybody has all these interesting theories. Some of them are not so good, and some of them are amazing. Number 4, her merch. Now, when you even look at the first release of Trixie's merch, it just looks so cool. And it just gets better and better and better, especially with the Funko Pops, which are one of my favorites in all of my My Little Pony collection. They just look so good, and they're just amazing quality. And I'd like to say that I never really noticed, after all these years, her merch getting worse and worse and worse. Now, we do see some characters like Miss Pommel or some other characters like Minty kind of get worse and worse and worse over the years with their merch releases, but Trixie has always remained really amazing. Even Sakura has had a lot of misses, but Trixie, no misses. And I will stand by that. And I mean, just look at this plushie of Trixie Lulamoon from Symbiote Studios. Isn't this just the most cutest thing you've ever seen? That's what I thought. I agree. Number 5, Trixie's voice. Now, Trixie's voice is one of the most actually compelling and interesting voices out of all the other cast. Voiced by Kathleen Barr, she really fits into this character, and I really honestly could never see anybody else voicing her except Kathleen. Not to mention, Kathleen also voices another villain you guys might be familiar with, Queen Chrysalis. I mean, these two are among the best antagonists in all of Friendship is Magic, and knowing that Kathleen Barr voices both of them is just amazing. It's awesome. She's so sassy, and I just love how she interacts with other characters, and I think her voice is just so unique. And if they ever do bring back Trixie in the G6 series, I really hope they bring back Kathleen Barr. Number 6, magic. Now, Not specifically magic in like what you're thinking, I mean magic tricks. Now me, I'm a killer for magic tricks and I'm a killer for magic shows. So Trixie being a magician is just amazing and it's such a cool character concept. I honestly think if they would have made her a part of the main cast, she would have fit in so well. I mean, Pinkie Pie has her parties, Fluttershy has her animals, Applejack has her apples, and Trixie has her magic tricks. Number 7, her effort to change. Now, after Magic Duel, Trixie shows a genuine effort to change in so many different ways. For instance, in Part 4 of Nightmare Rarity, she helps defend Ponyville from the Nightmare forces and gives emotional support to Princess Luna. And in Forever Friendship Issue 6, she reaches out to Rainbow Dash for help when the Diamond Dogs crown her as their permanent queen. In Manhattan Mysteries, she expresses guilt for her past actions and forms a bond with none other than Babseed. And you know me, I love Babseed so much. Then, in Trixie Never Gives Up, she helps the Cutie Mark Crusaders with their Cutie Mark related troubles. And then, in To Where and Back Again Part 2, Trixie gives up herself to a horde of changelings in order to buy Starlight and Thorax time to get away. Number 8, Trixie's feud with Twilight Sparkle. Now, I think this is one of the best parts about Trixie. When she first is introduced, she challenges and immediately sees Twilight Sparkle as a threat. And I think people don't give Trixie a lot of credit that she deserves. I genuinely think that if she didn't come to Ponyville and cause such disaster, that Twilight would not have been as good of a princess and a friend as she ended up being. Trixie pushed Twilight Sparkle to her limits, and she caused Twilight Sparkle to have to learn how to get better at magic. And I think we could all learn a little bit from Trixie. Even if you mess up, you can always come back and you can always be better. Number 9, her song in Equestria Girls. Now, I love this song so much, and I find myself singing it to myself all the time. I've even learned it on guitar. It's just so catchy, and Trixie's voice is just so charismatic, and she just does the song so perfectly, and it perfectly encapsulates who Trixie is. You better believe I got tricks up my sleeve, and I captivate, 'cause I'm powerful. It's just an amazing song. It's so beautiful. Number 10, it's Trixie. That's what this section is called. It's just an appreciation for Trixie, as amazing as she is and powerful. That's my number 10 is just Trixie. That's just simply it. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this interesting video I had today. I literally just no script at all. I just did this video for the love of the game. And I want to give a special shout out to XXXP1. I will have all their links down below. They did the new model and the new stills for Blue that you see on screen. Don't I look so cute? Go check them out and show them some love. And new podcast video coming out for the Brood of Flake channel. And guys, just remember, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. See ya!